Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah if you're new here, and if you've been here before, welcome back. So in today's video, we're talking about hair. We're talking about this 3-month update. It has been 3 months, guys. So I'm gonna give you my update, but I'm also gonna share with you some things on how to find a consultant or a loctician, whether you're doing Sisterlocks or microlocks, whatever the case may be. These tips will help you to find the right person for you. If you're interested in hearing more about my hair, the stats on my hair before I got locked, as well as my 3-month update on how to find a loctician, then keep on watching. Every time I do an update, I also share the process of how I got here in the first place so that it helps you to get through this process as well if you've started your Sisterlocks or lock journey. I promised you guys that in every video I would give you my stats, so in case it's your first time watching and you've never watched another video, if this is all you've come for, I'm just gonna give it to you. So, my hair was established. These are Sisterlocks. You were not sure. My hair was established fully on February 20th, 2023. It took 3 days, but technically in total hours wise, 31 hours for these beauties right here. My hair type is 4A, 4B. My hair density is very high, so I have a lot of hair on my head, and my hair strands are fine. So I have fine hair, but I have high density hair. So there's a lot of fine strands of hair on my head. My hair was established with color. So I colored my hair, I initially colored my hair back in October of 2020, but the last time I touched up the color was back in August of 2023. So it was like a good 6 months, more than 6 months before I established my hair. So I haven't touched up the color. I haven't done anything to it since. I started with about 10 to 12 inches of hair. Roughly, my hair was layered, so there were shorter pieces due to some damage, which I have shared in previous videos. And in total, I have 705 locks on my head. So yeah, if that's all you came for, there you go. Let's go into this 3-month update. So I'm gonna show you guys my hair, obviously, as I always do. This is what it's looking like 3 months. Honestly, if you watched my 2-month, my 1 month, I really, well, maybe not my 1 month, but my 2 month for sure, it's not really much different in terms of the hair. Like, obviously it's fuller. It probably looks a bit longer as well. I will turn around and show you guys the back. Editing Sarah here. So this is one of the things I forgot to mention in my 3-month update. This is the first time since I've gotten these locks that I've now started to experience buildup, or like lint buildup and things like that. It's only in this part of my hair. As I'll mention in the 3-month update part of this video, is that I've been switching up my wash day schedule. So I'm actually going to be checking that area more often and making sure that maybe in between washes I give back there an extra little wash. I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll let you guys know what happens in month 4. Okay, so that's basically it. Like, as you can tell, you're not really gonna see the length as much in this video. You'd have to look from like month 1, or like establishment month 1, month 2 to like now to really tell the difference, but I can tell. In terms of my overall experience now in the 3-month mark, I have experienced a few different things, some changes. So one of the main things I noticed is that my hair, like closer to the root, the scalp, it's marrying, like multiple locks are like kind of sticking together, I guess. Way more than it ever did before, and it's doing this in between washes. So before, like I found from establishment to about month 2, it was happening, but it would happen after I washed my hair, which is understandable. You're agitating it and then they're sticking together. But now I'm noticing that even between washes, that's happening. So I've had to unmarry a couple of them like throughout the week. And I find that probably the longer I go before washing is when I notice it the most. So I've kind of established like a 2-week, 3-week system to wash my hair, but more often than not, I'm gonna lean towards washing it every 2 weeks, because then I find there's less of that marrying. So that's probably the biggest thing I noticed. But another thing, I'm finally able to put my hair in a low ponytail, but when I put it in the low ponytail, I'm not feeling any pulling here, I'm not feeling any pulling in the back. And I mean, like, I put the ponytail holder around it and, you know, fluffed it up and did its thing. I'm not feeling any pulling here, no tension. I had done it around the 2-month mark, but I felt tension and I was like, if I feel any tension, I'm not gonna keep it that way. 1000% of the time, this is how I wear my hair. I wear it off to the side and it's down. I don't wear it up at all. I don't put anything in it, like hair ties, clips. I don't braid it up. I don't leave it in any kind of style other than this. I remember once in a previous video, I said I was gonna tell you guys how long, like maybe time it to see how long it takes me to actually do my wash day. For the moment, I twist and band my hair. Wash it, I do about 2 to 3 shampoos. Come out of the shower, take out, go section by section that I had in the bands, and unmarry, go through and make sure they're not married, and then braid that section up. It takes an hour and a half. And if you are a loose natural, you know that to wash, style, detangle, whatever your hair in an hour and a half, that's a blessing. And not only that, I do this once every 2 to 3 weeks. I do nothing else throughout the week. I do nothing else. That's it. Like, talk about hair freedom. Talk about hair freedom. And every day I wake up and I'm loving it more and more. I find I'm fussing with it less now. I guess I've gotten used to having them, so I'm not like in my hair the way I was before. I'm not giving you a good indication that I do that because I've been in my hair since we got on this camera, but I'm not like fussing with it the way I was before. And yeah, like that's it. Oh no, there's another thing. I'm definitely getting more stares than I did before. I think between month 1 and 2, I would get a few stares and people would, you know, but now I'm getting like legit stares. Like literally 2 days ago, there was someone behind me on the subway and she didn't know I could see because I was facing this way, obviously, but I could tell through the reflection in the glass that she literally was like over here and she's eyeing my hair, and she did one of those like quick like glance overs to get a little closer to me to see what they were. Yeah, so I'm getting more stares. More people are asking me about them, but yeah, still love them. Great, all is good. Wouldn't go back, wish I did them sooner, you know, all the stuff I said before. In the last video, I gave you 5 things to think about before getting Sisterlocks or locks in general. So if you haven't watched that video, you definitely should watch it, because there's some things that you need to know if you decide that you want to lock your hair and go through this journey, right? At this point, you've decided that, okay, yeah, locks are what I want, Sisterlocks are what I want, or micro locks are what I want, whatever it is. And now you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I find the right person to do this though? Because it is an investment of both money and time, not just initially, but also the journey that you're gonna be on for the next however long you decide to keep these, right? It doesn't matter who you choose. It will save you a lot of headache and a lot of stress if you take the time to choose the right person for you. There's a lot of things I could say, but these are the 3 most important things that I think you should do, and you'll be good. You'll be able to find the right person for you. There's 3 ways that I used to find the right Sisterlocks consultant for me. One of those ways was the Sisterlocks website. I did go there first, but I will say that use it as a reference. Use it as a place of knowledge, a place to get some more information. Do not use it as your holy grail. Unfortunately, as popular as Sisterlocks are, the creator of Sisterlocks and whoever is managing the website is still stuck back in the 70s or 80s or whenever this was created, because the website is out of date, very archaic, needs like a complete overhaul and an update. It's 2023, so if anyone from Sisterlocks is watching this, seriously, like, I think you're doing a disservice to the community when you have all these new people coming in, and the one resource, the one place where they should be able to go to make sure that the information is consistent all across the board, it's just hard to navigate, and I'm gonna be completely honest with that. So know that when you go there, it's more so to see, because they do have a registry, even though it's not up to date, but they do have a registry with people potentially in your area that do Sisterlocks. Either they're consultants, trainees, all that stuff, it's listed on the website. Know that your consultant's name may not be on that list when you find a person, and that might concern you at first, and I totally understand it. There's other ways to like verify a little bit more if the person has gone through all the training and they've done all the things. And this is the reason why I want you to go to website, because the more you know, the less someone can bullshit you, right? So if you go to the website and you read up on what the Sisterlocks like protocol is, what are the qualifications for a consultant, a trainee, who can call themselves a trainee versus a consultant versus an ambassador, how many heads did they have to complete in order to get that designation. These are things that when you're asking your questions and your loctician is telling you things that just don't line up with what you read about, that's a red flag, and you can know to yourself that, okay, maybe this is not the right person for me, or maybe you can dig deeper and ask more questions to understand what their process was, how they got into Sisterlocks in the first place, and like, is this the right person for you, kind of thing, right? The Sisterlocks website is just a spot to stop at and use as a little bit of a reference to educate yourself more. The two things that were my big thing that I used were Instagram, so social media, and my network. In terms of Instagram, what I would tell you to do is to do hashtag Sisterlocks or hashtag locks, hashtag microlocks, plus your city. So for me, it was hashtag Sisterlocks Toronto. And anyone who's ever used that hashtag more than likely either does Sisterlocks or has Sisterlocks. I told you guys this in previous videos that in Toronto, there aren't as many Sisterlocks consultants as there are, say, in the US or abroad. I had a really hard time finding people, but I was able to find people, and that hashtag really helped me. I also used hashtag Locks Toronto and things like that, but I found that when I broke it down to Sisterlocks, I was able to find people that actually did Sisterlocks. One person in particular that I found was a client of the consultant or the ambassador that I now see, who established my hair. And it was very helpful to see an actual person who has gone through the process with someone here in Toronto, and I can see their hair. I was able to see her hair over time. She's been documenting her journey. Now, not everyone will, but the point I'm trying to make is that if you can see a client, you can get an idea of like what the work looks like. Because one of the things you're gonna find is if you find a consultant who's been doing this for a good amount of time, like my consultant has been doing Sisterlocks for over 20 years, okay? So if you find someone like that, they're probably a little more old school. So they may not have a presence on Instagram or on social media, or they might not be maintaining it so much simply because they're at the stage of their career where they don't need social media necessarily. They're working all off of referrals at this point and return customers, if they're good at what they do, right? The second thing to do, don't be afraid to reach out to them, okay? Like, tell them why you've reached out. Tell them, oh my gosh, I found you on Instagram. I think your hair is beautiful. I'm actually in the process of looking for a consultant myself. I'm in the same city as you, whatever. And I love your hair. I would love to get your take on your experience with your loctician. Are you still with her? What was the establishment like? What has the experience with her been like? Ask those questions. Don't be afraid. I've had no one turn me down. Either they didn't respond because maybe they haven't even seen my message, or they responded. And I reached out to like 3 people, I think. 2. Because again, like I said, it's a little scanty around here. I reached out to 2 people and both of them got back to me and they were both sweet. Like they were both like, oh yeah, no problem. And they gave me their honest feedback. Like they told me, hey, I no longer see this loctician for my reties anymore, but at the time when I did, I really did like her professionalism. I liked the process. I liked how they made me feel in their space. Like all of these things are important because you are going to be that person next if you choose this person. So don't be afraid to ask other people, like, what was your experience really like, right? And then the third thing I use is my network. I went through my contacts and I looked up specifically, first I started with my 2 hairstylists, also people who I met through them who were also hairstylists, and I reached out to them. I was like, hey, I see that you do locks, but do you do Sisterlocks? I also reached out to people and be like, hey, is there someone that you would recommend for Sisterlocks? When I found the consultants that I was interested in, I ran them by my stylist. I was like, hey, have you ever heard of these people? Like, you know, they're in the same community. They're in the natural hair community in a sense, right? So in Toronto, it's a small knit. It's a small knit group. They know each other. And if you are doing what you're doing and you're great at it, you're going to be known by somebody. Like what do they call it? The degrees of separation is not that large. So fortunately, my hairstylist was able to vouch for my Sisterlocks consultant. Because I told you, she didn't have any pictures on her Instagram, so I couldn't see any work aside from this one client that I was able to find. But I just wanted to make sure, you know, I did reach out to her, talk to her and everything, but I just wanted to make sure. And she said, yeah, like, she's the person to go to in Toronto if you're gonna get Sisterlocks. Like, she's the one, like, hands down. She's been doing this a long time. She's great, like everybody knows her. I have confidence in my hairstylist. She's also a friend of mine. So when she told me that, any apprehension I had just melted away. Use your network. You never know who might know someone. And yeah, really the next big thing is to reach out to the actual consultant. The bulk of your questions are going to be asked during the consultation, but I implore you to ask a few questions up front. Important things. These are things that could be make it or break it things for you. Big questions to ask. Location. If you weren't able to find their location on their website or their Instagram, however you came about them, then make sure to verify you know where they're at. Because one of the problems with the Sisterlocks website is that there may be someone listed there, their number might be the same, but they might not even be in your city anymore. So you want to make sure that they are still where they are, or if they've moved, that they're in a place that's accessible to you. You want to know the price. Remember, they can't give you a full price over the phone. You need to go to the consultation so they can see your hair, measure it, all of that stuff. But most consultants will give you a base price. And what I've found is that everyone was saying something around like $800 to $900 for the first 4 inches of hair. And then depending on the consultant, their experience, all of that, they'll charge like $25, $50 or more for every inch above that. So you can keep that in mind to know just, you know, roughly how much it'll cost you. Also, this is a perfect time in the message or the email, however, text message, or even if you get them on the phone, to verify that they're a consultant or if they're a trainee. You know, I know that it's not a surefire way to do it, but here's the thing I've noticed about people over the years. If you ask questions, that's knowledge for you, that's information for you, right? Now when you go to the consultation, you already have some knowledge about this person. And if you ask those questions again, or ask them in a different kind of way, or see things within their space that don't line up with what they told you over the phone, and your intuition kicks in and tells you, I don't know, I feel like this person's lying to you, you don't second guess yourself. Go find someone else. Like, you need to be comfortable with this person. So that's why I think it's a good idea to ask some of these questions beforehand. For example, I knew that she was an ambassador before I went to the consultation. I knew about her experience, I knew about her work, when I went to her studio, I was able to see the certificate that shows that she is a Sisterlocks ambassador and all these things. She had all these different certificates, just different things within her space that gave me the security to know that I'm in good hands, right? Also, any other questions that just come to you that you feel you want to ask them. Like, if you want to know like what their schedule is like in terms of the establishment, because I've heard of some people doing the establishment like 2 days or 1 day this weekend, and then because they're so booked and busy, they can't do the next day until the following weekend. Are you okay with that? Like, you need to find out. If you want to get your establishment done back to back, then you need to find out if your loctician does that. The other big question to ask is like little things like, are you the person that will be establishing my hair solely? Because I found out during my consultation when this person told me that if I wanted it to be done faster, she could bring in another person and they could both work on my hair at the same time. I immediately knew, no. That for me is just a no-no, because I've seen too many times just through the research I've done on YouTube and asking people getting multiple hands in their head to establish their hair and it being off because you have 2 people doing your head at the same time. And then later on, them having to go and pull out whole sections of their hair and redo it. I don't care if the loctician says, okay, I'm not gonna charge you for that. Of course you're not gonna charge me for that. That's still my time that I now have to pull all those out and come back to you for you to reestablish them. So when she said that to me, my like spidey senses started tingling. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not looking for faster. I'm totally fine with us just getting the work done and you being the only one in my head. But her saying that didn't sit well with me, and that was one of the things that made me not choose her. I think the most important takeaway from this video is to make sure that don't be afraid to ask questions. And if a loctician doesn't want to answer your questions, don't be afraid to walk away, because if they're finicky or pushy or not upfront now, they're gonna be the same way when you're going back to them every few weeks for your reties. You might have questions and you may not feel comfortable asking them. This person should make you feel comfortable to ask any question you want to ask. No question is a dumb question, so ask it. I am not the only resource out there, and I am not an expert in this at all. I've had microlocks and now I have Sisterlocks. I'm literally just giving information based on what I've learned 3 months of me having these. So if you've been doing this longer, or you're currently in this journey and you've learned something, please comment it down below, share it with other people, share it with me. More importantly, other people that are gonna watch this video, if they see your advice, your tips, all of that in the comment section, it'll just help them to make a better decision when the time comes. I'll have another update at the 4-month mark, and we're also gonna talk about what to expect when you go for your consultation, like what's gonna happen at the consultation. I'm gonna break it all down. I'm gonna tell you how to prepare for it, what to do, all of that stuff, and what to expect, so you can go in there confident and feeling good about whoever you choose for this journey. If this is your first week, first day, or you're getting your Sisterlocks established soon, welcome, welcome, welcome. And comment down below so we can show you some love. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.